Okay, so I'm joined by Marc Cartwright and Baker Chase Powell, director of We Die Alone and its star, Baker playing Aidan. This is a film which sort of plays on the idea of people building facades about themselves and how they present themselves to other people. And it's has a sort of classic setup for the audience. As I mean, in fact, with Aidan right at the beginning in voiceover says, "I'm not a monster," you know, and that sort of builds in certain expectations straight away as to what may happen sort of later on. Right. So this was all shot in an apartment. It wasn't your apartment, I don't believe, was it?
Aidan's apartment was mine. So we shot it in Hollywood, which was where I lived at the time, and then also Lake Arrowhead and Beverly Hills, which is where the office was. So all right. Pretty much around Los Angeles.
Cool. So I mean, it's a short film, but I mean, and you're shooting in quite a confined space. So I was just wondering, sort of, how many people you got on set at any one time?
There were 12 people, I think, were on the crew. And then we had the two, the actors, there was really only, I guess there was only one day where we had, and for only half the day did we have all three actors there. Yeah. So it's like, it was a small apartment. So, and we definitely had to play Tetris with some of the, some people would be in this room and then we'll do everything. But surprisingly, the cast all worked together so well. And it's like, we just kind of it just meshed. It didn't feel, it didn't feel crowded.
How long did it take to actually shoot the film? And it's a 22-minute film, I believe. So how long did it actually take you to shoot it?
We did 5 days. We did 3 days in Hollywood, 1 day in the office, and then 1 day in Lake Arrowhead.
Mm-hmm. So Lake Arrowhead, is that the external shots that we see at the end of the film?
Yeah. Luckily, a friend of mine had this amazing... she had this amazing property with the back of her, it's 3 houses, but the back of these 3 houses is all like forest and it's just beautiful views and everything else like that. So it was really a great, that she let me use it. So
that's cool. Yeah. You want somewhere that's reasonably secluded as well.
Yeah.
You don't want someone passing by and seeing what's going on. That would be pretty.
The story a little bit.
Difficult to explain. So I just want to talk about a couple of elements in the script, because I watched the film a few times now, and there's a couple of little things you sort of pick up on sort of second and third viewing. One is there's a nice bit of foreshadowing where the character of Chelsea is talking to Aidan about jigsaws, and she's saying, "Oh yeah, I used to do those as a kid," and sort of her next line is something along the lines. I used to sort of do them and then sort of break them up again and redo them again.
Right.
Which is quite a nice sort of element to what happens. About a character and things. Yeah. But there's another one which is even more subtle. It's sort of like a character beat when he finally talks to her on the phone and then invites her over.
Right.
There's this pause, where she's thinking about sort of saying yes, and then she sort of explained later on. But it's only, I think it's about the third time I sort of picked up on that. It's like, just that sort of 2-3 second pause before she responds to sort of say, "Yeah, all right, I'll come over," sort of.
Right. Yeah. I tried to do those throughout. I wanted to, because each person I wanted because all 3 people, they represent a sort of a way that we all stand in the way of of having meaningful relationships, or how people can do that. So I wanted that, in being true to character, I wanted that to translate into other areas of the film, and in their decision making and their subtle, their subconscious, choices that they make.
Sure.
So I'm glad you picked up on it. That was good.
Oh, thank you. Baker, I mean, about the character Aidan, he goes through a number of sort of changes throughout the film. So when we first see him, he's very, he's sort of reciting that speech that he's sort of built up for himself. He's getting ready for dinner, and we find out that actually he's too scared to actually sort of follow through.
Yeah.
But then we sort of see another side of him when he has the camisole from Chelsea, and he's owning that piece of that garment of hers gives him a certain level of confidence. So it was nice to sort of see that shift in your character. I mean, it sort of shows a bit more of your sort of range, and the fact that Aidan isn't just this one note sort of person.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So I mean, what did you draw from for the character of Aidan? I mean, was it literally just what was on the script, or did you sort of have your own ideas for it?
I mean, yeah, I had some of my own ideas drawing from my own past experiences at times in my life when maybe I didn't feel like the most confident person. But I think also something that I really drew from was just how social media and the internet in general has, for everybody, has created this kind of like, you can have this persona online or have a certain amount of confidence online that maybe you wouldn't have in person. And for this character, Aidan, he kind of built up this confidence, on the dating platforms that he was on, but he could never take the next step and actually meet someone in real life. So when it came to meeting Chelsea, and she kind of, she basically took the first step by knocking on his door and introducing herself to him. So that was kind of like his first, connection in real life, and he had no idea how to react to that and what to do with it, so stalking her is obviously his first idea.
There's an interesting bit where he sticks the note on her door, and then has second thoughts about it, and but when he opens the door and the note's gone, and it's almost like it's like something from a horror film in itself. It's like, oh my god, that bit of evidence has disappeared, sort of thing. And what's the word I'm looking for? The crucial bit of evidence is going to sort of put me in danger. Is gone. That was sort of very well played, I have to say. Now there's another character in the film. So we've got Chelsea, but we've also got Elaine, who's played by Ashley Jones. Yeah, and it's interesting you're sort of saying about Aidan's interaction with Chelsea, because he has this other sort of relationship, which he obviously sees as purely professional. And he's not picking up on the cues that she's throwing his way, which is kind of sad in a way, to be quite honest, isn't it? There's a real sort of pathos to the way that sort of plays out.
It's like and it's like each one of these characters, like, sort of, I pulled from someone that I knew or that I've seen, or someone that I've felt. I don't know. Like, I mean, I've known those Elaine type characters, and it's like your heart does kind of break for them, and and by all accounts, like, she would, she's a wonderful person and very caring and nurturing, but can't seem to have that relationship that she wants for herself, and that's, I don't know. There's a little sadness to that, but I mean, and Ashley played it amazing. Like, I love every direction and choice that she made with that character.
I think that no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I was going to say something, but it would give things away. No, I'll leave that. I'll leave that one. So there's another. We're talking about the script as well. It sort of plays with conventions to a certain degree, and there's sort of a linear process throughout the film where we see how Aidan is at the beginning. Then he gains this confidence because he believes that Chelsea could be the one. And then it gets to the point where she's almost taking that back from him when she says, oh, I don't tend to stick around very long in one place. And he starts panicking, and you can see, his house of cards starting to fall on top of him. It's a nice sort of progression for the character and the story. And I think, up to that point, the audience is sort of going, right, this is it. This is where it's going to, it's all going to sort of kick in. And then it's sort of like, you manage to sort of pull something else out, which was very surprising, I have to say. And
Yeah.
and it's sort of like the preparedness of it when it happens is the shocking bit, I think. In that, that this person knows what to do. she's
Right.
she's got, she's sort of like following things she's done
Like she's done in the
done in the past, which
Right.
is it's just, as I said, I've seen this a few times. It's playing in my head now.
Right.
It's just messing with me a little bit. But no, I just thought it was really, really well played.
Yeah, thank you. And and I think that it just in like with relationships too, it's because you watch that happening where like when two people meet and things seem to be going well, and there does seem to be some sort of connection, and then all of a sudden those defense mechanisms pop up, and then people start acting weird towards each other, or the the relationship falls apart, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's sort of like, oh, I better end this before it starts, sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
What about I mean, there's no sort of score in the film, as far as I can remember. I mean, was that a deliberate choice as well?
Well, David Williams did. Well, there was music. Like David Williams did the score, but like we wanted it to be sort of layered in, like kind of like to their their emotions and to what they were feeling. So I think like it's sort of, which I think he did a great job of, like allowing it to sort of like inform and lead, but not like obviously be overtaking the the watching of the story.
Sure.
Yeah. Because it's like, I feel like a score anyway should be there to sort of play with your subconscious and sort of aid you in moving forward with the film.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's like, I think, I mean, I think it's there. It's like, if you're, of course, like, see it, but I think it's also great if you are kind of like having this amazing reaction from the film, but then, it's not standing out so much where it's like you're sort of not paying attention to what's happening because you're listening to the music.
True. Yeah, there is that side of it. So.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Baker as well. I mean, as we mentioned, Elaine, but also Chelsea, who's played by Samantha Boscarino.
Yeah.
You get that right? Yeah. I mean, she's really wonderful in this as well. She comes across with this sort of very bubbly personality, very, very, very sort of friendly sort of person. So she does a really good job.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
She was great, right? When we saw her during the audition, we kind of just knew. So that's,
just like knew right away that she was our Chelsea.
So you and Baker have worked before on Vexed, as one of your early shorts, and I think you've also worked on other shorts as well.
Yeah, we have a couple. Like we have so it started out, we did a Baker was doing a web series, and it was like a sort of like a comedy web series, Dating Pains. And I looked at their first episode and I was like, well, I'd like to be involved. And so they brought me on as a cinematographer, and then I wound up playing around with directing, and that's kind of how that kind of bug started. And then we decided that we found out that we both really loved like horror. And so then we just started making the horror shorts, and we've done, I think this was our fourth one. Yeah. Fourth or fifth one. Yeah, fourth one. Because I have two experimental ones coming up. But yeah, this was as far as horror shorts, this was our fourth one. And Vexed was one that came out, that was probably around 2017, I think.
Yeah.
Released around 2018 online. But now we have 1 million hits on YouTube, so it's been really good, and the reception's been, really fun. So it's like
it's fun. I mean, this one has a sort of more macabre element to it, whereas the other one is sort of more sort of straightforward, sort of supernatural.
More horror. This one. Oh, go on, sorry.
So I was just going to say, I mean, what was nice as well was seeing Baker's range between the two. He's not playing the same character in both films, very different. So it was nice to sort of be able to note that as well.
Yeah, the growth. It's also the growth in that over that 2 years.
Cool. I don't think I've got any more questions for you guys, actually. I mean, the issue, part of the issue is obviously we've gone over this twice. So there's a sort of sense of deja vu, and I can't remember what ask you, which I haven't asked you this time. But regardless, thank you very much for your time this afternoon, guys.
Yes, of course. Thank
Brilliant.
you.
So this review the review and this interview will go out more or less the same sort of time, and I'll send you both the links once it does.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, guys. Twice.
Second time's a charm.
Indeed. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.